Okay. Hey guys, we are coming to you to tell you about Yosemite. Basically the idea. We have kids in the background, so good ambiance noise for you guys.
We do. Or they're not going anywhere.
It's true.
So just the top things. What was your favorite thing about Yosemite?
Favorite thing we did in Yosemite was probably biking around Yosemite Valley. That was a really great experience, and we actually took that on a tip on some research I did. Like someone said, hey, bike around Yosemite, and I was like, all right, we have bikes with us anyway. There's some like right over there. I'll show you a picture later. And we just grabbed it and we did it the first day on a fluke, and it was the best thing. We took the bikes up another time, and honestly, if we had time, we would have done it a third time, no doubt.
Yeah, so we had family with us, and they rented bikes because they hadn't brought theirs from Utah. And
the rental bikes are not very good.
We had brought bikes, so we had pretty good, capable kind of all-terrain bikes with us. But our family rented the bikes from Yosemite, which are like $35 a day, and they're garbage.
Yeah, they're
like beach cruisers,
like,
and most of Yosemite is
paved.
It's paved, so it's concrete. But every once in a while, you want to go off into the valley, and it's dirt. And beach cruisers just don't handle, and they're pretty rickety.
Yeah.
So our family who'd spent $70 to rent bicycles, they wouldn't do that again.
But they bike, so they would have preferred their own bikes.
Yeah.
But if you don't bike a lot, I mean, it probably
I'd say if you could do some e-bikes up there, it would be
e-bikes would have been amazing.
So yeah, I'd say for me also the best part of Yosemite was biking around Yosemite Valley. You have El Capitan, you have Half Dome, you have whatever the big A monstrosity is on the other side of El Cap that I never learned the name of. You just have all these incredible monoliths, and they're just they're the reason that words like breathtaking and speechless exist.
It was
it was just amazing.
Like I always thought that Yosemite was like overhyped. Like people talk about it over and over again. You're like, there's no way it's gonna be that good. Yosemite totally delivered. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, I agree. It feels like people overhype it, but in the last 6 months, we've been like a month to Yellowstone, a month to Glacier, a month to Olympic. So we've spent a lot of time in some of the best national parks in the country, the big ones, Glacier, Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And there are parts of Glacier I liked more. There are no parts of Yellowstone I liked more than Yosemite. Yosemite was tied with Glacier, which is like being tied with the greatest place on the planet.
Okay, I love Glacier. Glacier's still number one for me, but Yosemite is a very close second. It's his favorite now. And our kids loved Yosemite so much. I would actually say Yosemite might have been our most like kid-friendly.
Yeah, I'd say the kids loved Yosemite the most. We loved Glacier the most. I'd say the park in Yosemite was better than the park in Glacier that we stayed at.
Just for like little kids, if you're running
we
around
we were right on a river, and the one thing I would change if I could about Yosemite is I would go in the spring, not in the fall. So that kind of transitioned us to waterfalls. So let's talk about other things we loved about Yosemite. So waterfalls.
Waterfalls. So me and Addie, if you are on Instagram, you saw us. We climbed up Bridal Veil. It was dry. Like, I mean, it's not dry completely. There's still waterfalls coming down, but like we got up really close to the top, and it was a really incredible experience to have just me and Addie. Like just for fun, and we both were the only ones who had the proper shoes. Like we were going out into Yosemite, we stopped there, and we were like, hey, let's climb this. And me and her were the only ones who had like proper shoes to go do it. Jeremy and Barrett, our oldest son, were wearing flip-flops. We wear a lot of flip-flops in our family.
It's true. It is my preferred foot attire, not appropriate for hiking granite boulders in front of slippery waterfalls. And both Barrett and I were only wearing flip-flops. And so we didn't want to die, and I had to set a good example to my boy, and so I had to hold him back. He was warned
very sad about it.
to wear proper attire for hiking, and he wore flip-flops. I was not warned, but then again, I don't mind missing a hike here and there. So
Bridal Veil was amazing. One we didn't get to see while we were there was Vernal Falls, and I'm gonna remember, and I'll just put it up in the video later. There's a second one that's just right past that. We did not get to make it to that one. We saw it from far and we waved, but we did not actually get to make it up there. And I was kind of okay with that because my little kids, you know, they're 2 and 3.
Beyond that, they were dry. So we say waterfalls. We haven't explained yet that in the fall, we went to one falls. I don't know what set it was, But
Yosemite Falls was completely dry.
Completely dry, bone dry.
It was.
You could see where
like a little bit of water used to be there,
but bone dry.
Part of the reason we want to go back for the spring, we've considered changing our schedule so we can go and see it in the spring when the water is.
Do you want me closer? You
found
seem
there.
way
You can.
closer than me.
I like being.
Hey guys, how you doing?
It's really good.
That's terrible.
Do what you do, man.
Oh yeah, that is what I do. Creep people out through the camera. That's how I roll. Anyways,
Okay.
so yeah, Yosemite Falls, totally bone dry. Because there's no snow melt, and a lot of the water that comes off Yosemite Falls is from the snow,
basically.
and so we caught it after the summer, and we caught it dry. So they say during the season it's like thunder, like it's so loud because it's coming right across granite. It's not like, you know, coming down a rock, it's coming off granite, and so we really want to see that when it's in its element, but that would be spring.
I will say that I was very happy we were there in the fall because it was still crowded in like October, November. I can't imagine what it's like in the summer. And I was very happy with the time of year because of that, because I'm not good with crowds. I'd rather avoid them. Like, no.
Yeah, it was great for no crowds.
but
Even
for-
the
and the
even the
weather.
park, the RV park was really
very low key.
calm
Very
and
calm.
low key. We stayed for 21 days, so
No,
it was,
we didn't. We stayed for 2 weeks. We were there for like 14 days.
We
Yeah.
stayed for 2 weeks
Yeah.
with very spotty power
Yes.
and very spotty internet
aware.
and very spotty
Not
water.
good internet.
It was the dumbest. PG&E was having the fires, and so they kept cutting the power off to the park, and so we kept having power outages, which isn't a bad thing. Like power outages don't
It
affect an
happens.
RV that much.
Yeah,
You
you
have
got
a generator.
tanks and a generator, and it works.
Wi-Fi was annoying.
Wi-Fi was hard. We have a
Least
block.
favorite part.
There you
That's my
go.
least favorite part about Yosemite. The
Power outages, they couldn't control.
and internet outages was obnoxious.
yeah. Another thing we want to talk about real quick: El Cap.
El Cap.
So as part of our things, we had a packet from Lane's Left Travel that we went over with our kids, and also we also watched Free Solo with our kids.
We did.
And it was just a really cool experience. We did not go and climb El Cap. I just want to make sure that's clear. It's not something we were doing, but we went by it. We saw it. We would go by it all the time, and you'd see the lights. You'd see people going up and hiking it, and our kids were just fascinated. And then with the El Cap documentary, it like became personal. And actually, what's his name? The guy.
Alex Honnold.
Alex Honnold. He was there when we were there.
He was there. He was.
And it was so
he was
cool.
tweeting about being on El
Yeah.
Cap the day after
While
we
we were
watched
in-
Free Solo, and so our kids were freaking out. They're like, "Let's go see Alex!" And we're like, "No,
Yeah.
it's not. He'll probably die." And so
They kept looking for him everywhere we went. They were
Yeah.
like, "Is that Alex? Is that him?"
yeah, we
It
had
was
been
so
up
funny.
to Yosemite twice, and so we had spent some good time like at the base of El Cap and looking at it, and we had talked it up, and then we watched Free Solo, and then we went back and saw it again,
Yep.
and it was amazing. So
The-
I highly recommend Free Solo is a must watch. It's on Disney Plus,
It
which
is.
is our sponsor for today's episode.
No, it's not.
It's really not, but it's on Disney Plus for free.
But the night lights were really cool because apparently people go up there and climb and spend the night up there and then keep climbing.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh! There you'd see like people's headlamps just like in the dark. Because I mean, there was times time changed while we were there, so we were totally there when it was dark. Like, we
Yeah,
used
like
every
5
daylight
o'clock
hour.
in the afternoon, pitch black.
Love
Nothing but
daylight
us and the people on
savings.
Cap with their headlamps on. So yeah, it was awesome. Night at El Cap is really special because seeing little lights going up the whole route, you're like,
Yeah.
wow, that is insane. Someone's sleeping up there right now.
Someone's braver than I am.
Yeah, so
Actually-
much braver.
I mean, I've rock climbed, but nothing like that. I'm not that intense.
Not that intense.
All
All right, the last thing is sequoias.
Yeah.
We went to Mariposa Grove,
Yeah.
and we hiked with 4 small children,
Yeah.
and it felt like hiking with 4 small children.
Yeah.
Our kids go about 3/4 of a mile an hour,
Yeah.
and it's at
Toddlers.
least 2 gallons of tears per mile, mostly for me. And so it's hard. It's hard hiking with little children. We got a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, and it's rough hiking. But we saw some big trees.
They were rather, my youngest son was really enthralled with the very large trees. Everyone else thought it was cool, but he would just go up and look at them. Like, oh, wow, look at that. Over and over again. It was a cool experience, and we learned actually a lot along the way. Like, whenever you're road schooling, It's really easy to like find, especially if you're in a national park. Like they just give you information, you just have to look for it. There were signs all along the road, and the kids learned a bunch about sequoias, stuff I didn't even know. And
yeah, tons of stuff. You just, I don't know, it's like the best textbook you've ever had
except for a non-textbook
about sequoias, but it's while you're walking through the sequoias and you're like,
it's the best part.
These things drop 2 million seeds. You know, it really, I don't know, it really sticks with you.
I will say the Mariposa Grove, we did not go all the way to the Grove. We did the, like, I don't even know, we made it to the big tree. What is it called? The giant?
The grizzly tree.
The grizzly
or something
tree.
like that.
Something like that. I'll put it up.
I didn't know we were doing this video. So the truth is, I didn't take any notes.
No, I took like basic notes. Anyway, yeah, so we went up to just that far and then we came back because hiking, I think it was like 7 miles. I can't remember now. I should have looked it up. Oh well.
Some hints for if you go to Yosemite.
Yeah.
Bring your food with you. It's really far to the nearest town. Like we're talking 45 minutes one way to the nearest town, and that town is tiny.
Yeah.
And so to get to like a Costco, you're driving to Fresno, which is 2.5 hours of the windiest roads you've ever had in your life, on very, very, very sheer cliffs.
Yeah.
We went to Fresno to trick or treat.
We did.
And so take your food with you. Don't plan on like going to the store while you're in Yosemite. Bring enough food.
Thankfully, we stocked up. We stopped and we stocked up right before we left. But if we hadn't, it would have been
a much bigger
hassle. And that's if you're in an RV. If you're camping, I mean, you always know to bring your food. But we live this full time, so sometimes we have food, and sometimes we just wait till we get to the next town. It depends.
A lot of it is where's the next Costco, to be honest. Like
for us, because we have 4 kids.
Because we have 4 kids, and it's
they
just
eat
a lot
of
cheaper.
Snacks and juice.
Another thing to keep in mind is California has effectively a 50% tax on everything.
Yeah.
So we call it the California tax. If you're used to spending $40 for you and your kids for a meal, it's $60 in California.
Yep.
If you're used to spending $3 for gas, it's $4.50 in California. Serious business. So just be prepared. 50% more on everything.
Other thing, if you're going to Yosemite, I would definitely fill up your generator with this PG&E outage. Like, we had ours only half filled, and we had to spend the $4.50 because that's how much gas is here. Instead of if we'd filled up before we left, it would have been a lot cheaper for us.
Yeah, we totally should. We have 2 reserve tanks for our generator, and we went in with only 1 full because the other one the gas had been there for a long time, and I was afraid of it getting stale. And so I said, hey, we'll just use that. Yeah. And then we had power outage after power outage after power outage.
We did.
So we had to like take our truck and go get like 5-gallon gas cans, 2 of them, and bring them down over and over to fill up the other generator, so we wouldn't have to take the whole rig and bring back gas. So that was a hassle.
Also, with our RV park, their water reserves like dried up. Like they told us you can't have any more water.
They were on a pump and they didn't have electricity for a chunk of time.
Yeah, so they didn't have like I don't know, like 3 days maybe, and they only had so many reserves.
Yeah, a day or 2 for sure. They
But thankfully, we had actually filled up our water tanks because we were going to boondock, or we did boondock on our way to Yosemite. But still,
we should really get rid of that water at this point. It's been in the tank for like 2 months. We have water filters. Don't worry about us. We'll be fine. But it's just remember.
I think that's about it.
That's about it. Yosemite was gorgeous. I would highly recommend it.
Yeah. So the 2 places we didn't wanted to go was the Tulamane. I'm gonna have to look it up. Valley, the meadow. We did not make it up. We drove past it. We stopped kind of a little bit, and then we kept driving. But we kept going back to Yosemite Valley because I loved it. Like spoke to my heart. Couldn't not. Like
it's hard to not love Yosemite Valley.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I think we saw just about everything. Oh, and we didn't see the Hetch Hetchy.
We didn't go to the reservoir.
We didn't, but I've heard it's worth it. Especially if you're trying to avoid the crowds of Yosemite Valley, but we were there in the fall, so we didn't have that problem.
Yeah, it's on the other side of the thing. It's probably a 2-hour drive from where we were, and so we just never had the time.
Anyway, that's kind of it. That's it for us here in Yosemite, so we'll see you guys later.
Later.